So, hello sa inyo. So, this is our last lecture video for the semester and my last lecture video for this semester kasi natapos na ako sa lecture videos ko for the third year. So, nagre-ready na lang sila for their final exam next week. So, ano bang sabihin ko sa video na to? So, in this video, we will talk about our next topic or our very last topic, which is Cooperative Code of the Philippines. So, dito sa Cooperative Code of the Philippines, basically, ngayon pa lang sinasabi ko na, skip nyo na to. Oo, bakit? Kasi this is only going to be a very short discussion, parang i-overview lang natin. Na sir, paano yung sa board exam namin, sir? Relax lang pagdating sa co-op sa board exam. Kasi sa amin, kasi yung undergrad namin, hindi naturo sa amin yung cooperatives na discuss na lang sa amin to noong nasa Manila na kami, nagre-review sa SIPAR. No, pagdating sa RFBT kasi, to notes lang sa inyo, pagdating sa RFBT, review, yung Regulatory Framework and Business Transaction, dalawang types of review materials ang ibibigay sa inyo. Yung una, yung review notes, and yung second is yung review questions. So, sa review notes, nandoon basically yung summary ng topic. So, yun, binigay kami. Then yung sa review questions doon na, yung mga hundreds of question, lalo na pagdating sa RFBT, expect nyo na per topic, hundreds of question yan. Multiple choice question, theories, hundreds yan ibibigay sa inyo per topic. Ang pinakamahaba siguro yung pagdating sa corporation code, if I remember correctly, umabot tayo ng 1,000 questions or mga 800, 900 siguro. Basta ang dami, ang kapal nung corporations reviewer. Questions pa lang yun. Pero, yun, napunta tayo sa ibang topic. But basically, nung diniscuss sa amin tong Cooperative Code of Philippines, wala kaming idea. As in, first topic, first discussion yun sa amin. Pero hindi naman siya ganoon kahirap. Kasi pagdating sa RFBT board exam, the only, para pumasa kayo for the RFBT lang board exam is to make sure na lahat ng review questions na answer nyo, na review nyo. Yun lang yung the minimum way. Kasi ganoon rin yung ginawa namin Most of us, hindi na kami nag-open ng ibang review materials. Yung book ni Soriano, hindi na yun naka-open. Yung mga books ni De Leon na dinala namin sa Manila, hindi na yun naka-open. Ginawa lang mostly sa amin is diretso sa review materials. Yun lang no sweat. Pagdating sa cooperative code, yung mga important points lang yung sinasama dyan. Na sir, required to memorize? Not necessarily. Basta yun ang sasabi ko. I-answer nyo lang, i-review nyo lang yung review materials, particular the review questions na ibibigay sa inyo, magiging familiar na kayo sa topic. Mamamaster nyo na yan. So yun, sinasabi ko sa inyo. And since finals week natin next week, I would suggest na stop watching this video na. Use your time properly para pag-aralan yung mga exams yun next week, yung mga topics yun sa exams next week. Kasi this will only be a very short discussion, mga 20-25 minutes lang, overview lang of the cooperative. So don't worry about the cooperative. Kapag sa finals natin, siyempre kasama to. Pero yung basic important concepts lang. So, ano pa yung sabihin ko? So, skip nyo na this video. This will be very short. And, medyo, may singaw ako ngayon. So, baka hindi pa nga dito maging klaro yung diction ko dito, di ba? Kasi may singaw ako, mahirap magsalita ngayon. But that is not the reason bakit, but take note that is not the reason bakit sinasabi ko na short discussion lang to, na pinapastop ko na kayo Kasi napakadali lang nitong cooperative code. Basta may idea na kayo sa corporation and sa other business organizations, goods na to. And with that, let's start with the discussion. So, definition, ano ba tong... wait lang. Full face ko pala nandito. Lagyan na natin ito sa taas. Full face ko pa since kanina pa, nakalimutan ko ito. Cooperative Code of the Philippines, this is promulgated, enacted under Republic Act number 9520. Ito yung pangalan ng batas na to. I think this was enacted in 2008 and wala pang revisions. Unlike sa ating corporation code which napakalaki ng revisions, naging revised corporation code ang tawag Okay. So, short discussion lang. So, anong definition ng isang cooperative? Accordingly, a cooperative is an autonomous and duly registered association of persons na kung saan there have a common band of interest who have voluntarily joined together to achieve their social, economic, and cultural needs and aspirations by making equitable contributions to the capital required, patronizing their products and services, and accepting a fair share of the risks and benefits of undertaking in accordance with the universal accepted cooperative principles. Sir, bakit meron tayong cooperatives? Basically, ganito yan. Ang importance ng cooperatives basically can be summed up in this sentence or in this phrase. Ang cooperative is a community-based association, is a community-based organization. So since it is a community-based organization, basically ang motto niya is by the community, for the community. Basically ganun si cooperative eh. Kasi 'di ba, pagdating sa mga corporations, pagdating sa mga single prop, sa mga partnership, most of them, 'di ba? Apart from the non-stock corporation, for profit sila eh. Maximizing their margin. Yun basically yung trabaho nila. Yung mga non-stock, may kanya-kanya rin yan silang ginagawa sa buhay, di ba? Iba yung focus nila. So kaya nandiyan yung cooperative. Kasi ang cooperative, gaya na sabi natin, community-based eh. So, So itong cooperative, ang pangangalagaan niya lang is yung yung nakaka-benefit sa community. Yun yung purpose ng isang cooperative, community focus siya. So by the community, for the community. Yun yung importance ng cooperative. Kaya ginawa yung cooperative. Para para for the benefit of the community. Kasi at least, sila na mismo eh. For their own benefit. Mag-organize sila. Diba? Kasi community-based eh. Now, since ginawa tong cooperative code, syempre kailangan may government agency to regulate that. And that government agency is called the Cooperative Development Authority, CDA. Refers to the government agency in charge of the registration and regulation of cooperatives. So lahat yan ang galing yan. Parang sa corporation ba, pati sa partnership, yung nagre-regulate sa kanila is yung Securities and Exchange Commission. So pagdating dito sa sa cooperative, si CDA, yung Cooperative Development Authority, yung mamamahala dyan. So ito, the primary objective of the cooperative is to help improve the quality of life of its members. Yun yung purpose niya eh. Hindi to maximize the margin, di ba? Or tulungan itong mga taong to, gaya mga non-profit, di ba? Mga non-stock corporation, di ba? Ang purpose lang talaga ng cooperative is, sige, mga members, sumali kayo dito. Kasi itong cooperative is para naman sa atin eh. Para sa mga members. For the community. Yan yung may primary objective ni cooperative. Now, towards this end, the cooperative shall aim to, provide goods and services to mga members, optimum social economic benefit para sa members, teach them efficient ways of doing things in a cooperative manner, propagate cooperative practices, allow lower income, less privileged group to increase their ownership in the wealth of the nation. Basically, to give access to those who cannot make a partnership, to those who cannot incorporate, and to those who does not enough capital to launch a single proprietor business. So yan si cooperative. Ginawa ng gobyerno para may another way for these people who wants to do something to make business for the benefit of them, for the benefit of the community. Yeah? This is another way para guminhawa yung buhay. And much easier kasi hindi yan kasi di ba? Kung tutusin, napakahirap ng sa partnership, masadong maraming kailangan, di ba? And yung liability, grabe pa. Dito kasi cooperative, limited liability lang. Ngayon sinasabi ko na. Pagdating sa cooperative, limited liability lang. Parang corporation yun. Pero ang corporation, as you know, mahirap gumawa ng mahirap gumawa at magpatakbo ng corporation. Ang cooperative, easy access kumbaga. Lalo na sa mga tao na walang enough resources, walang enough capital. So basically, ang mangyayari, itong mga cooperatives, ipagsasama-sama nila yan ang limited capital to maximize the benefit of its member. So yan. Cooperative principles, voluntary and open, democratic and member. Ito mga principles na to. Don't worry, ibibigyan ko kayo ng copies ng reviewers and notes ko na for the cooperatives para mabasa nyo rin apart from this PowerPoint. So, itong mga cooperative principles, ito yung mga types of cooperatives. Sir, minemorize yung mga types of cooperatives. Parang minemorize namin to for the board exam. Parang minemorize namin. Sir, as in, yan talaga minemorize. So, hindi, not in that way. Paano? Binasa namin yung kaya yung sabi ko, paulit-ulit namin ni-review yung review questions, yung review material sa may multiple choice questions, hundreds of questions. So, yun. Through that, na-familiarize namin yung concept. So, in-skip na namin to. Yung mga review notes about yung mga review summary notes, in-skip na namin yan. Diretso kami sa review questions. Kasi, yun ang sagutan para tipid ba sa oras. So, in this case, these are the types of cooperatives. Ito na familiarize or medyo na-memorize namin to dati because of those review questions na paulit-ulit naming sinagot and the review. So, yung credit cooperative, consumer, producer, marami yan sila. Ito, multi-purpose, di ba? Yung sa mga kantin natin, service, marketing, producers, advocacy, agrarian reform, cooperative bank, ayan, electric cooperatives, si Walang Hiyang Samselco, education, madaming klaseng cooperatives. Kahit minors, may cooperative tayo, laboratory cooperative. And must be registered with affiliated. Ibig sabihin, dapat may guardian sila dyan. So, mahalaga ito. Categories of cooperatives. Now, in terms of membership, meron tayong 3 klaseng cooperatives. Tawag yan, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Now, take note of this, Pagdating sa primary, yung members nito are natural persons. So, mga tao. Pagdating sa secondary and tertiary, ang mga members nito, juridical person na. Paano? Kasi dito, as you can see, yung members ng primary, di ba? Natural persons. Pagdating dito sa secondary, yung members nito are the primaries. Ito yun. So, itong mga primaries, nagrupo-grupo sila, o mga primary cooperative, nagrupo-grupo sila to form a secondary. To form a secondary. Now, pagdating sa tertiary, the members of which are secondary cooperatives, so itong mga secondary cooperatives, naggrupo-grupo sila para mag-form na mas malaking tertiary cooperative. So, di ba parang hierarchy yan? Sana yun dito? So, di ba ito mga primary. Lagay pa tayo dito primary. Sige, grupo yan sila. Pag maggrupo yan sila, tawag dyan is the secondary. Yeah. Secondary tawag sa kanila. So, pag itong mga secondary na grupo-grupo, tawag na doon is tertiary. Ayan, ganyan. Now, in terms of territory, cooperatives shall be categorized according to the areas of operation which may or may not coincide with the political subdivisions of the country. So, baka, di ba? Mga cooperative, mga farmer cooperatives Zamboanga, di ba? O sa Zamboanga Province, o sa Zamboanga Peninsula, o meron sa Southern Mindanao, o sa Cebu, yun. So, organizations and registration of cooperatives. So, a cooperative may be organized and registered for any of the following purposes. So, as you can see here, ito yung mga purposes kung saan ilalagay ng cooperative, ng gustong maging cooperative sa kanyang registration. Excuse me po. Di ba? Una, encourage different savings, generate fund and extend credit sa members, encourage sa mga members systematic production and marketing, lalo sa mga livelihood, sa mga farmers, provide goods and services and other requirements of members. So ito, any or all of the following. So ito yung mga purposes na pwede. Establish list. Marami, di ba? As you can see here, di ba? Napaka-focus ng cooperative sa tumulong sa mga maliliit na tao, which are the members for their benefit. Ano yung sabi natin kanina? By the community for the community. Kung saan they will aggregate the limited capitals that they have in order to maximize the benefit to the members. Yan si cooperative. So ito, organizing a primary cooperative. Remember, primary cooperatives are formed by natural persons. So pagdating sa pag-organize ng primary cooperatives, kailangan natin ng 15 or more natural persons. Ito yung mga qualifications: Filipino, legal age, having a common bond of interest. Example, mga farmers sila, di ba? And are actually residing or working in the intended area of operation and may organize a primary cooperative. So yan yung mga requirements. Filipino, dapat natural persons, of course, Filipino, legal age, having common bond of interest to farm and to benefit from that, ganun, di ba? And are actually residing or working in the intended area. So siyempre, pag yung farmland is nasa Bitali, so dapat nasa Bitali rin sila nakatira or nasa Bitali sila nagtatrabaho. Now, single-purpose cooperative, di ba? Ito, mga purposes sabi natin. A single-purpose cooperative may transform into a multi-purpose or may create subsidiaries only after at least 2 years of operations. So, ito, di ba? Pagdating sa partnership, it is formed upon the agreement lang, di ba? ng effectivity ng contract ng partners or a date otherwise provided. Pagdating sa corporation, nakikreate lang yung corporate existence niya upon the issuance of the SEC ng kanyang Certificate of Incorporation. Pagdating sa cooperatives, ito yung nangyayari. Okay, all cooperatives applying for registration shall file okay, singa ko. Pero nag-promise ako gumawa ng video so let's continue. All cooperatives applying for registration shall file with the Cooperative Development Authority the Articles of Cooperation. So yan, di ba? Sa corporation, Articles of Incorporation. Sa cooperatives, Articles of Cooperation, which shall be signed by each of the organizers and acknowledged by them if natural persons pagdating sa primary cooperatives, and by the chairpersons or secretaries if juridical persons. So ito pagdating sa mga secondary and tertiary cooperatives. So yung mga leaders, mga chairpersons ng primary cooperatives na gusto mag-form ng secondary, sila yung magre-represent. Pag tertiary naman yung mag-form, yung mga chairpersons or secretary ng mga secondary, di ba? Pataas yan. Ito naman yung mga nilalaman ng Articles of Cooperation. Name cooperative, purpose or purposes, scope of business, common ba no? Economic survey, cooperative, minimum subscribe. Ito nag-apply dito yung 25% rule. Dati, both of the cooperative incorporation may 25-25 rule. Pagdating sa subscription, ngayon tinanggal na sa corporation code, pero sa cooperatives maintain pa rin. So sabi dito, no cooperative other than the cooperative union shall be registered unless the Articles of Cooperation is accompanied with the bonds of accountable officers, di ba? You can still remember bakit tayo may bond, para if ever tumakas itong accountable officers, yung bayad sa damages na makokos nila, kukunin dun sa bonds na dineposit nila. Oo. And a short statement, 25% na meron sila, and yung 25% authorized, di ba? May authorized capital sila. And at least 25% of that is subscribed. Ito na may minimum. Total, in no case does paid up share capital be less than 15,000 except for multi-purpose cooperative kung saan yung paid up capital should not be less than 100,000 paid up every 5 years. Requirement. Take note of this. No member shall own more than 10% of the subscribed share capital of the cooperative. Bawal yan. Isa yan sa mga limitations. Bakit? Kasi, basically, pag ganyan yung mangyari, baka siya yung magkaroon ng control over the cooperative. Hindi pwede kasi ang cooperative is democratic member control for the community or by the community for the community. Hindi yan pang business. Yung cooperative para sa benefit ng community na yan. Kung ano mang profit na meron dyan, i-share sa mga members. Hindi yan pang, Hindi profit making ang priority niyan. Ang priority ng isang cooperative is for the benefit of the members. So there's a difference between the two. For the benefit of the members and for profit. There's a difference between the two. Kasi ang priority mo pagdating sa cooperative is kung ano yung nakakabuti sa member. Hindi kung ano yung mas nakaka-profit. There's a difference between the two. So kaya pagdating dito, bawal na yung isang member may more than 10% of the subscribed share capital. And malalaman nyo rin na yung voting ng cooperative is not based on the share capital or the ownership of the shares, but rather sa voting. Later, ito na minimum of page, secondary, ito, federation, ito, federation and union. So take note of this also. Itong federation, and may makikita rin kayo sa handout kung ano yung mga difference silang dalawa. Itong federation, it shall refer to the cooperative that members of which are primary cooperatives doing the same line of business. Ibig sabihin, kung farmers cooperative to, na nakasali sa isang federation, alam mo na yung ibang members dyan sa federation na yan are farmers cooperative din. Kasi doing the same line of business. Or kapag cooperative bank to, yan di, ganun. Or kapag, ano pa bang other stuffs? So, planting, ganun, di ba? Pagdating naman sa union shall refer to the cooperative na the members of which are registered cooperatives and or federations organized purposely to represent the interests and welfare of all types of cooperatives at the provincial, city, regional, and national level. So yan si union. Ito naman, common and preferred share capitals, basahin na lang. Yung sa shares, alam naman natin ang idea nito. Ito, certificate of registration, nagkakaroon lang ng juridical personality ang isang cooperative upon the issuance ng Cooperative Development Authority ng kanyang certificate of registration. Now, pagdating dito sa application, meron tayong tinatawag na approval by inaction dito. Ibig sabihin na tenga lang yung registration, yung application for registration sa CDA. So, 60 days, approved na yan. Pag yung delay is not caused by the applicant. So yan, approval by inaction. Ito naman, kapag na-deny, so appeal sila sa Office of the President. Kapag natenga doon, for 90 days, then approval by inaction din yun. Conclusive evidence, etc. Bylaws. So yung cooperative, meron din siyang bylaws. So ito, same lang idea. Ito ang mga nilalaman. Yeah? May idea naman tayo kasi sa bylaws. Now, cooperatives, they can amend yung kanilang articles of cooperation and yung kanilang bylaws by any provisions or matters stated in the articles of cooperation and the bylaws may be amended by 2/3 vote of all the members with voting rights. Yan nyo? Hindi by shares. By all the members. Without prejudice to the right dissenting member, the amendment shall take place upon the CDA. Yun, date of filing. Division of the cooperatives. Ito, pag may dispute within the cooperatives, then pwede sila mag-separate. Any registered cooperative may by a resolution approved by a vote of 3/4 of all the members with voting rights present and constituting a quorum dapat may quorum resolve to divide into 2 or more cooperatives. So pag yan, nag-dispute sila, hindi sila nagkasundo-sundo Ito naman yung cooperatives pwede merger or consolidation. Cooperative name, ito mga pangalan. Ito, sabi natin kanina, limited liability ang meron ng cooperatives provided by the code. Cooperative term, may 50 years life siya. Yeah? Ang corporation din dati, may 50 years life pero tinanggal na. Ginawang perpetual. Yung cooperative natin, hindi pa na re-revise. So, 50 years pa rin yan. So, maraming idea kasi or maraming provisions ng cooperative code natin kasi 2008 to na enact na nanggaling sa corporation. Ang ginawa lang sa corporation code natin, yung old corporation code, yung batas pambansa bilang 68, maraming kinuha yan at transfer lang dito sa cooperative. Ang ginawa kasi dito sa cooperative, of course, basically ginawa siyang pangmasa, easily accessible, easy to form. By the community, for the community. Ito naman yung mga powers ng cooperative, di ba? Napag-usapan din natin yung powers of corporation. Ito naman yung sa mga cooperatives. So, exclusive use name, succession, amendments, article of incorporation, interdivision. So, di ba? Ito naman, membership. Member includes a person either natural or juridical, di ba? Juridical pagdating sa mga secondary and tertiary, who adhering to the principles set forth in the cooperative codes and the articles of cooperative has been admitted by the cooperative as member. Dual membership, pwede ka maging members ng dalawang cooperatives unless otherwise pinagbawalan. Ito naman, General Assembly. Ito yung tinatawag sa General Assembly, basically, ito yung governing body ng cooperative, per later on yan. It shall mean the full membership of the cooperative duly assembled for the purpose of exercising all the rights and performing all the obligations pertaining to cooperatives as provided by the Cooperative Code in its articles of cooperation and bylaws. So, itong general membership, basically, from the word itself is from the assembly ng full membership. Sila yung basically the governing body. Diba? Parang stockholders natin and parang yung members ng non-stock. Ito, there are two kinds of members. Una, yung regular members who are, these are the persons, or not necessarily persons, but rather, the members, kasi diba, meron din tayong, diba, sa tertiary and sa secondary, kung saan juridical persons yung members nila, juridical entity. So, itong regular members, these are member is, ano tong wording to? Regular members, member is one who has complied with all the membership requirements and is entitled to all the rights. Medyo naglalaway ako dahil sa singaw eh. Okay? And entitled to all the rights and privileges of the membership. Ito ng mga associate member is one who has no right to vote or be voted upon and shall be entitled only to such rights and privileges as the bylaws may provide. Like, for example, meron lang siyang rights to the income, yeah? Pero pagdating sa voting, wala siya. Ang regular members entitled to all. Ito naman in regards to the associate members, lead na lang. Ito naman minimum numbers of members in a federation or union. 10 federation, tingnan nyo. Diba kasi 10 primary co-ops, category 10 secondary. Termination of membership. Now, a member of a cooperative may, for any valid reasons, withdraw his membership from the cooperative by giving 60-day notice. Now, subject to the bylaws ng cooperative, this withdrawing member shall be entitled to a refund of his share capital contribution and all other interests in the cooperatives. Like example, baka nagpautang siya sa cooperative, so pwede niya mabawi yun. Now, however, kapag yung funds ng cooperative, kapag kinuha mo yun, basically, such fund shall not be made up, okay. However, such fund shall not be made if upon payment, the value of the assets of the cooperative would be less than the aggregate amount of its debts and liabilities exclusive of its share capital contribution. Meaning, if for example, kapag binayaran mo na yung withdrawing member ng kanyang share, nag-negative kayo. Nag-negative yung net assets nyo. Kinulang kayo ng pambayad sa debts and liabilities. Hindi nyo pwede gawin yon. Kasi, basically, parang sa sa corporation, pwede lang magbayad out of the unrestricted retained earnings. Parang ganun. Dito, hindi mo pwede gawin eh. Kasi pag ganun yung nangyari, kukulangan kayo ng pambayad sa inyong debts and kukulangan kayo ng pang-cover nyo sa debts and liabilities. Dito yung sanity member, next of kin, pwede. Valid grounds for termination, etc. etc. Now, membership of cooperative may be terminated by a vote of the majority of all the members of the board. May board of directors yun ng cooperatives. Kasi gaya nga sabi natin, parang kinopya lang nito with major modifications from the corporation code. So, yung board of directors through a majority vote, pwede silang magtanggal ng member. Ito yung mga grounds or causes. When a member has not patronized any of the services of the cooperative, basically kung mababasahin nyo to, nawala ng loyalty si member, parang ganun yung ini-imply dito sa grounds na to. Ito, take note, where a member of a cooperative dies, his heir shall be entitled to the shares of the decedent. So, mamamana sa kanya, ipapamana sa kanya. Provided that the total shareholding of the heir does not exceed 10%. Paano yun, sir? Pag namatay yung cooperative, let's say for example, yung mag-asawa, cooperative members sila. Each of them holds, let's say, 6% membership. Yeah, oh. Ngayon, buyag-buyag namatay yung mag-asawa, may isa silang anak. So yun, ipamamana yun sa kanilang nag-iisang anak. So naging 12% yung ownership sa cooperative ng nag-iisang tao, which is yung anak nila. Nabawal yun, sabi sa batas ng cooperative. The heir does not exceed 10% of the share capital of the cooperative and that the heir is qualified. So bawal yun. So kapag nag-exceed ng 10%, then babayaran siya. Ibabalik yung share sa cooperative and babayaran yung heir. Di ba kasi sabi natin, bawal na may isang member na lumampas ng 10% yung kanyang ownership sa cooperative. Kaya meron ganito. So ito, now let's go to the administration and operation of cooperatives. Now, mapapansin niyo dito, may similarities yung pagpapatakbo ng isang cooperative sa pagpapatakbo ng isang corporation. So ito, General Assembly. Ano tong General Assembly? Tandaan nyo to, lumalabas sa board exam pagdating sa cooperatives. Now, General Assembly shall be composed of, mention naman natin sa previous slide natin kung ano tong General Assembly, di ba? Sana yun? Ito. So, paano yan? Anong effect niyan? Or anong labot niyan pagdating sa pagpapatakbo ng isang cooperative? Sakit singaw na to. So, General Assembly shall be composed of such member who are entitled to vote under the Articles of Cooperation and the bylaws of the cooperative. So, yan. Basically, magkakaroon silang General Assembly. Doon, nandun yung mga members na entitled to vote. Kasi doon, magdi-decide sila ano yung mga mangyayari sa pagpapatakbo ng cooperative, mga important decision. Now, these are the powers of the General Assembly. Now, the General Assembly shall be the highest policy-making body of the cooperative. Okay. And shall exercise such power as are stated in the cooperative code. So, to tandaan nyo. The highest policy-making body ng isang cooperative. Now, in the Articles of Cooperation and in the bylaws. Now, take note of this. Ito, lumalabas yun to. May mga powers ang isang General Assembly na it cannot delegate to other bodies. And these are the powers to determine and approve amendments, to elect or appoint the members of the board, and to remove them for a cause. However, in the case of mga electric cooperatives, etc., and to approve developmental plans of the cooperative. Ito mga developmental plans, basically ito yung mga big plans, diba? Nabubulol na dahil sa singaw. Ito yung mga big plans ng mga big capital expenditures, big capital plans ng cooperative. So take note, pwede mag-delegate ng power ang isang General Assembly to a smaller body. However, hindi nila to pwede i-delegate. Itong tatlong to. Sila lang ang pwedeng mag-exercise ng mga powers na to. Ito, subject to such provisions, cooperatives, and all for the purpose prompt and intelligent decision making, the General Assembly may be by 3/4 of votes of all of its members with voting rights. So, tandaan nito, all of the members, hindi lang kung sinong nasa quorum, all of the members present and constituting a quorum, delegate some of its power to smaller body of the cooperative. Pero ito yung tatlong powers na hindi nila pwede ma-delegate. Ito naman, meetings ng General Assembly, regular and special, so similar. Ito naman, take note, quorum nila. Ang quorum nila shall consist of at least 25% of all the members entitled to vote. All the members entitled to vote, 25%. Exception pagdating sa cooperatives cooperative banks and sa electric cooperative. So, 25%. Now, voting system, di ba? Gaya ng napansin nyo, hindi by shares, number of shares yung voting ng cooperative, although may shares siya, di ba? Kasi yung voting system ng cooperative, pagdating sa primary, one member, one vote. One vote. One vote. Kahit na 5% ownership, kahit na 5% yung ownership sa shares, hindi yung basis ng voting. Kundi, for the primary cooperative, one member, one vote. Pagdating sa secondary and tertiary, they shall have at least one basic vote and as many as incentive votes as provided sa bylaws but not exceed 5 votes. The votes cast by the delegates shall be deemed as votes cast by the members thereof. So yan. Ito, voting by proxy. The bylaws of a cooperative other than the primary may provide for voting by proxy. So pagdating sa mga primary cooperative, bawal ang proxy. Basically, other than a primary may vote by proxy. Voting by proxy means allowing a delegate of a cooperative to represent voting behalf, etc. Ngayon, ito naman. Pagdating sa cooperatives, hindi required na magkaroon ng board of directors. Choice na ng cooperative kung gusto lang magkaroon. Unless otherwise provided sa bylaws, the direction and the management of the affairs of the cooperative shall be vested in a board of directors which shall not be composed. Okay. Shall not be less than 5 nor more than 15 elected by the assembly for a 2-year term until so ganyan. The board of directors shall be responsible for strategic planning and direction. Kasi ang cooperative para rin siyang close corporation, di ba? Kasi sa close corporation, limited lang yung members, so magkakakilala lang. Parang sa community based rin yan na cooperative. Yung mga members dyan, magkakakilala lang. Kasi isang community lang yan sila eh. Kaya minsan, unless otherwise provided sa bylaws, pwedeng walang board of directors. Ito naman yung qualifications para sa isang member ng board, if ever meron. Any member, cooperative, etc. Read na lang. Ito, meetings ng board, regular and special, quorum. Ito, same. Proxy, as we have said, bawal ang proxy sa board. Vacancy ng pagdating sa board of directors, kapag yung vacancy is other than the expiration of the term, it may be filled by the remaining directors, majority vote nila if they still constitute a quorum. Otherwise, yung vacancy will be filled by the General Assembly. And yung vacancy niya shall only be for the unexpired term. So, similar sa natin. Corporation. Ito, cooperative officers, sila to. Ito, alam nyo naman yung degree of consanguinity and affinity. Yung consanguinity by blood. Yung affinity by civil relations lang yan. So, yung mga father-in-law, sister-in-law, ganun yan. Ito, themselves, chairperson, vice chairperson. Ito, familiar man kayo. Removal of cooperative officers. Executive committee, ito, alam niyo na to, cooperative committees. So, di ba? Na-discuss na natin to sa corporation, aware na kayo sa idea niyan. Ito, compensation nila, so similar. Liability nila, kapag kasalanan nila, ito, basically, willfully or knowingly vote for, assent to patently unlawful acts or guilt of gross negligence or bad faith, they will be solidarily liable. Which means jointly and severally. So, solidarily liable yan. Ito naman, double the profits. Ibig sabihin, kapag yung kinita mo sa isang bagay na niloko mo yung cooperatives, doble yung i-return mo sa cooperatives. Yun yung meaning nun. Dealings nila, ito, na-discuss natin sa corporation, same idea dito. Disloyalty, double the profits din. Ito yung capital sources ng cooperative. Yung member share capital, yung contribution sila, di ba? Yung loans and borrowings, revolving capital which consists of deferred payment of patronage past interest, subsidies donation upon dissolution, such donated capital shall be subject to escheat. Ito, limitation of share capital holdings, yung 10%, hindi pwede lumampas ng 10%. Assignment of share contribution, no member shall transfer his shares or interest in the cooperative kapag hindi pa siya, dapat pwede lang siya mag-transfer kapag more than 1 year na sa member. Tapos yung assignment niya is sa cooperative, sa isang member ng cooperative, or sa isang tao na kung saan qualified siya maging member. And lastly, dapat approve ito ng board of directors. Ito, annual audit. Ito, alam niyo na yan. Ito, social audit. Parang unique kata ito sa cooperative if I remember correctly our discussion. Kasi di ba yung kung ano yung social impact ng cooperative and conducted by an independent social auditor. CDA, performance audit, ito. Yung audit report, yan. Familiar naman kayo ito. Ito, net surplus, ito. Pagdating sa cooperatives, itong net surplus, unique to sa kanya. Isa yun sa mga tatanong sa board exam, sure ako. Pagdating sa cooperatives, itong net surplus. Na itong net surplus, sabi dito, the net surplus of cooperative shall be determined in accordance with its bylaws. Every cooperative shall determine its net surplus at the close of every fiscal year and at such other times as may be prescribed by the law. Agay. Agay. Wait lang Agay. Anyways, ano ba tong net surplus? Dito sa second bullet point. Na itong net surplus, wag nyo tong titingnan as a profit. Kasi di ba parang mukha siyang profit net surplus. So parang ito yung na-receive mo, ito yung ginastos mo. Di ba? Parang ganun yung tunog niya. Pero don't treat a net surplus as a profit. But rather, treat this as this way. This is the excess of payment made by the members for the loans borrowed or the goods and services availed by them from the cooperative, or the difference of the rightful amount due to the members for their products, sold, or services rendered to the cooperative, including inflows of assets resulting from each other operating activity, shall be deemed to have been returned to them if the same is distributed as prescribed to them. So basically, net surplus talks about the net benefits and the net expenses. Ano natin sa net expenses, but you can construe that in that way ng isang cooperative. So, mas malaki yung na-receive na benefits ng cooperatives as compared sa net expenses na ginawa niya. And all that surrounds on the benefits of the members. So, yun yung net surplus. But don't treat it as a profit. Kasi, ang cooperative, hindi mo yan pinapatakbo para mag-earn ng profit. Pinapatakbo mo yan para sa benefits ng members. So, yan ang cooperative. Kaya dito, basically, it is the benefit over the expenses provided. Kasi, contribution ng member, etc. etc. Ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng net surplus yung cooperative, kasi hindi mo pinapatakbo ang cooperative para mag-earn ng profit. Oo, kaya nga hindi profit ang tawag dyan net surplus. So, ibig sabihin, yung benefits na receive ng cooperative, ito, inulit-ulit ko, is more than the expenses that has construed or nagastos, ganon. Kaya hindi profit ang tawag diyan kasi hindi mo pinatakbo ang paulit-ulit tayo, di ba? Basta itatak nyo to sa utak nyo. Ang cooperative hindi pinapatakbo for profit. Pinapatakbo yan para sa benefits ng kanyang members. Hence, net surplus ang tawag, hindi net profit. So, paano nagkaroon? If ever nagkaroon ng net surplus ang cooperatives, paano ang distribution yan? Ito. So, the net surplus of every cooperative shall be distributed as follow. So, ito, an amount to sa reserve fund, ito, 10%. So, basahin niyo lang to. Oo, kasi yung board exam, ito yung makatakot na part ng cooperatives. If naalala ko habang nag-review for the board exam. Kasi grabe, marami to sila. Paano yung distribution ng net surplus ng cooperatives? Pero, pagdating ng board, hindi naman yung nakakatakot. Chill lang yan. So, familiarize na lang with this. So, to sa reserve fund, at least 10%. To, shall not exceed 10%. So, cooperative na ng bahala paano nila-distribute sa community development, optional fund, land building. Remaining shall be made available to the members in the form of interest on share capital, di ba? Yan yung order of distribution. So, tandaan, ulitin lang natin para tumatak to sa isip nyo. Ang cooperative hindi pinapatakbo para sa profit. Pinapatakbo ito para sa benefit ng members. Hence, hindi net profit yung ginagamit na term, but rather net surplus. Net surplus. So, pag nagkaroon ng net surplus yung cooperative, dinidistribute yan in this manner, provided to ng batas. Reserve fund, education and training fund, community development fund, optional fund, then yung remaining. So, ganyan tandaan nyo, itatak yung sa utak mo. Isa sa mga important parts pagdating sa cooperative. Ito naman, sa additional notes, ito naman, cooperative books. Every cooperative shall have the following documents ready and accessible sa members and representatives ng CDA for inspection. Ito yung mga nilalaman. Reports, shall draw up regular reports for the of its programs of activity, including those pursuant to social civic undertakings, showing their progress and achievements, fiscal year, calendar, except others provided, register of members, etc. Banding to para pag tumakas to, basically, at least may pangbayad sa damages, yung binayad nilang banding. Privileges, ito sa mga privileges. Kung babasahin nyo to, isa to sa mga privileges ng cooperatives. Kasi, as we have said, itong cooperatives, community-based, to access those communities na Hindi magbe-benefit sa corporation, hindi magbe-benefit sa partnership, hindi magbe-benefit sa sole proprietorship. Kaya nandyan si cooperative to access those, to give access to those persons. So, in order to encourage the establishment of cooperatives, ito yung mga some privileges. So, makita nyo dito, basahin nyo, marami itong privileges sila. Lalo na pag in connection with the transaction sa government. Marami ito. Di ba yung mga cooperative na kantin-kantin. Wala silang free of use yung available space in their agency, di ba? Wala silang babayarang renta. Basta owned or rented by the government. Basahin nyo lang, marami yan. Ito naman, dissolution ng cooperatives. Similar idea to pagdating sa corporations. So, read na lang. Ito, involuntary dissolution. So, with that, ito 2 years. Same din sa corp. Ito, liquidation. 3 years to liquidate, di ba? Kung saan, hindi na magko-conduct ng business but rather to settlement, winding up of affairs na lang. And with that, yan yung discussion natin for cooperatives. So, if kinontinue yung pagkikinig ng video na to, well, kudos to you. So, pagdating ng board exam, so, pagdating ng board exam, chill lang. Huwag kayong kabahan sa cooperatives. So, ano bang sabihin ko? So, final exam tayo next week. Tawag dito. Final exam tayo next week. Ang coverage is corporation and cooperatives. So, pagdating sa cooperatives, yung mga major, yung mga important details lang. So, with that, this is my last lecture video for this semester. So, good night. Bye-bye. Love you.